Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the I Talk Back Sports Show. I'm joined by my co-host, Jamal Bonner. Jamal, tell the people hello.
Hi, Kay, and hello, world.
Okay, today we're going to talk about sports, football, basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay.
And the loss of a great.
Do you have a shout out, Jamal?
Actually, I do, Kay. Thanks for asking. I would like to give a shout out to 911 operators and to their inability to really distinguish what is an emergency and what is just a black person doing normal things. So that means from having a lemonade stand to canvassing for a political party. 911 operators, I appreciate you finding out the true nature of the call. And I would ask of you that whenever people do call about, let's say, Jehovah's Witnesses knocking on your door at 9 o'clock in the morning, that then you dispatch the police, because that's just wrong. What about you, Kay? What do you have to chat out about?
I'm going to have to agree because Saturday mornings is already hard to go to bed at night, and you just don't want to be woke when it's a Jehovah's Witness at the door.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I just want to give a shout out to everyone that's listening in, viewing on Facebook. We have Audra, Dee, and Mary Thomas. Thank you so much, guys, for listening into the show. If you have any questions, please just type them on in, and we'll get them answered or commented on.
Yes, thank you. So, Kay, I want to start off talking to you about something that's come up between you and I in our conversations offline. And it's about a particular franchise that you have been a fan of since the mid-90s. And through, you know what, let me allow you to explain. Can you talk to me about this team that you will be going forward calling the franchise, please?
Okay, so I was a fan before the 90s. When I was growing up, my mom would always talk about how one of our neighbors was a diehard Cowboy fan. And I was like, how do I be a diehard Cowboy fan? And years later, I kind of got into it through the failures, everything. Jamal, when I first met you, what was I calling the Cowboys?
Cowgirls.
And the B word, okay?
Oh.
You can't really say that. And you were like, is this girl really a fan? I'm just hard on them. I got expectations, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going to go and be criticized by half of America because I am a fan and buy the tickets and buy the shirts, hats, belts, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I'm committed to this, okay?
Right.
So... And also, it was a time where we had conversations about how we'll meet men, and they'll be like, "I don't have a team. How are you a football fan and not have a team?" Now I understand because I am moving into that gray area. Okay,
What?
I'm moving to that area where I want to be able to appreciate the game of football, but not necessarily have a team, okay? And I even thought about adopting a team, the Cleveland Browns. Because the Cleveland Browns owner would not, in my opinion, be so divisive, you know what I'm saying, and stand so strongly on something that really don't have nothing to do with him, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that the Cleveland Browns organization will not let me down in those regards. And for the most part, they suck. We suck.
Whoa.
The franchise sucks.
What?
Okay? The franchise sucks. So it'll be okay. It'll be fine. We're still losing. They're losing. The franchise is losing. The Browns are losing. But I don't think the Browns will be losing too much longer. But they're going to be my team that I follow up on because I'm through with your franchise, Jamal.
Okay. And I wish I had something to say back to that. And
And
there's
I'm getting
more?
the tattoo removed as well
Oh
because I
boy.
don't want this on my body anymore.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. All right. I it's a tough situation, and it really doesn't help that our owner is, or excuse me, my owner, since you've divorced or in the process of divorcing,
Yeah.
the owner of my team is busily making comments and making what's supposed to be America's team sound as though they are a bunch of not only lackeys but almost property. And so it's tough, and I can't fault you for it because it's hard even for me to stomach some of the stuff that is going on, and then to look up and the New York Giants owner says, "Oh, if any of you protest, there won't be any fines." So, like, okay, great, thanks. And the Eagles, Malcolm Jenkins is eloquently putting across what the real point of the quote unquote protests are, and that again we seem to be, or the Cowboys seem to be, as an organization, being left looking like a bunch of chumps. So that said, somehow or another, I am going to see about pivoting and talking about some stuff from training camp, as the Cowboys closed up training camp in Oxnard, California, and have moved back to the confines of Frisco for the next matchup, which I believe is tomorrow night against the Cincinnati Bengals. A couple of things that I saw from studying a bunch of YouTube videos on the actual training camp. Tavon Austin looks really good. Looks really good. Great speed, great catches. Um, Lance Lenoir, great catches as well. Chris Richard, the defensive back coach, very strong personality. Looking forward to him becoming a head coach in the NFL one day. And the defense in general looked pretty good. Looks pretty good. Bo Scarborough is catching the ball. He's very fast. It was one of the people that Kay pointed out at the after the draft that she was going to be interested in knowing more about. On the flip side, there's not really a lead wide receiver, but oh well. The tight
It's not a
ends.
physical wide receiver either.
No, there's really not a physical wide receiver. That's correct. The tight ends have looked like nobody really wants the starting job, and that includes Rico Gathers, who just
Well, if he would have spent more time developing his craft instead of out there rapping,
oh
then maybe he could have learned how to run drills and learn plays. But that's just my opinion.
yeah.
I don't make millions of dollars.
No,
So
no, that's true. That's true. And the other thing that came out of camp that I was really kind of raising an eyebrow about until recently, Randy Gregory had no tape. And then the report that I read last night as camp was closing, he had a one-on-one battle with Tyrone Smith and kind of left him in the dust. So that was oh, okay, all right. So you got some talent. So let's see what happens with it. Gosh, it's hard to talk about the Cowboys after what you just said. But gonna be interested to see what happens on Saturday night. I think we're gonna probably see a lot more of Cooper Rush versus Mike White, and we're gonna look to see if maybe one of these wide receivers can step up, or if it's just gonna be wide receiver by committee. Who knows? The Rod Smith looks wonderful as yep, and I think we may see like a moment or two of Zeke, but after that, it's running back by committee as well. I'm looking to see if Bo Scarborough can move up. Even though I hate backs from Bama, I think that this kid can, maybe make himself into a decent third down back, especially if he continues to catch the ball the way he has been. So let's talk about the rest of the NFL, though. And hold on, before we do that, let me ask you a question about the team that you're divorcing.
okay.
So Terrell Owens, back in, gosh, was it March? I think it was either February or March. Was and I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but it was brought up that the record and the problem with the Cowboys in terms of their lack of winning was their head coach, Jason Garrett. So, based upon what you saw last year and what you are anticipating for this coming year, do you think Jason Garrett survives if the Cowboys don't make the playoffs this year?
Well, I could only say yes or no if I understood the man love between him and Jerry. So I don't quite understand the man love between the two of them. So I think that anything is possible. I truly believe that winning is not a priority for the franchise. I feel that as long as they're, the top club in the world, and they bring in money for concerts and for different events, if they're still making money, winning is secondary. And so as long as I feel that Jason's trying in Jerry's eyes, then he won't get rid of him. Okay. He doesn't want anyone to challenge his authority. He doesn't want a true manly man, to be in a head coach. And so who's left? I mean, another Jason Garrett? I mean, do we want someone like that to take his place if he's not going to offer anything different to the franchise? No, we don't want that.
No, I got to agree with you. I'm not looking forward to that idea. I'm hoping that what will happen is what has happened with the Johnny Manziel situation previously in the draft, and that is cooler heads will prevail within the organization in terms of a coach, if this is what happens at the end of this coming year. And by all accounts, it smells as though this squad, as much optimism as there is, isn't going to make the playoffs this year.
And there's optimism every year. That's why I don't even want to watch training camp. I don't want to see them on IG talking about, what do they call themselves? Some kind of the hot boys. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear Law and Order. I don't want to hear any of that. What I want you to do is when it's third down, I want you to make a freaking stop and not allow them to convert. That's the type of stuff that I want to see. So I don't care about any of that stuff on Instagram. I don't care about training camp. I don't care about how good they look by the sports reporters. None of that matters to me at all.
Okay. All right. That's fair. And that makes perfect sense. So what I'd like to... Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead. So what I want to toss at you is I want to run you through a couple of items, and they're going to be true, false.
Okay.
So the first one that I have, which we've already discussed, it feels like we're beating a dead horse at this point, but Jerry Jones is going to cause you to burn all your Cowboy items.
False. I have jerseys online that are for sale, and I've given a considerable amount away to people that I love that, I told my boyfriend we take really good Cowboy pictures together. However, I'm going to be in regular clothes, and you'll just have to wear your Cowboy stuff without me.
Okay. All right. True or false? Watching soccer is worse than watching paint dry.
Yeah, true.
I've been waiting all summer to ask you that question. This question was in response to various conversations about the World Cup. And, So, moving along. Longhorns football will win a major bowl game before Dallas reaches the Super Bowl.
True.
Ouch. I think it's false, but yeah. Tom Herman and we're not on the best of terms at the moment, so we'll see. The University of Michigan coach, Jim Harbaugh, is in the hot seat.
Okay, does the hot seat mean if he does not go to a major bowl this year that he's out of a job?
Yes.
This year?
Yes.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say false.
Okay. All right. Tiger Woods will find a way to win one of these majors before retiring.
Very true.
Okay. All right. And lastly, bringing back Ron Washington will solve the Texas Rangers' woes.
I think that is false because we need pitching. We need pitching like we needed pitching in the 80s and 90s. So as soon as we get our farm system back up and actually get some good pitching, then that's when we will return to our original form. And then on top of that, our bats aren't as good as they have been in past years for the past 2 years. So we need offense and we need pitching.
You know, I haven't watched much of the Rangers, so I really can't comment on it. The only thing that I will say is, for as talented as the teams were when Ron Washington was here, I have to give the man credit. He found a way to win. And since his departure, the squad the talent has gone down, but it just doesn't feel as though they're finding ways to win.
I think they're doing what they can do with what they have. I think they really need pitching. Mm-hmm. And I think that at that time, John Daniels was making sure that he had what he needed in order for him to succeed. And I don't think that's happened in the last 2 years.
What do you think has changed?
I think that they have not recruited the right people as far as pitching is concerned.
Okay. That's
I mean, I think they were right to not sign you back, because of what he's doing with other teams. Mm-hmm. But at the same point, you got to be a little creative. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, and they have not done that.
Okay. All right. So on the sidelines this coming fall, we're going to see something a little bit different. My understanding is, I believe it's the Saints and the Rams are going to have male cheerleaders on the sidelines. What are your thoughts on this?
I just think that you don't need to add any more to what goes on in football. Mm-hmm. You just need to address the things that are going on in football, and you don't ever have to worry about people not wanting to watch. So you don't need a circus sideshow of men in little bitty shorts on the sideline doing whatever. Mm-hmm. So I just think that why add to something that could possibly work if you took good care of it?
I've never really, not since I guess maybe my teenage years, I stopped paying attention to the cheerleaders on the sidelines at NFL games. I was watching them more in college or on college games. They seem to be a lot more interesting, a lot more involved, louder. But otherwise, the professional games, so I'm just wondering, are you trying to bring a college atmosphere to the game or something? Or, I'm not against it, but I'm just asking why. Why?
Why? That's exactly right. Yeah. But then again, you want to, at one point you were taking away from the celebration of players. You know what I'm saying? But then you're going to put some men on the sideline, like.
I don't know. And it's not as though they haven't fixed the issue of the ridiculousness that's going on in terms of what the cheerleaders are put through, the lady cheerleaders are put through in terms of their rules and so forth. That's a whole nother ball of wax. So let's move on from that and let us discuss, did you watch any of the Hall of Fame from a couple of weeks ago?
No.
I depended on you. I depended on you for this one.
I didn't watch it. I just have a sour taste in my mouth, and I'm just, don't depend on me. Not really. Don't depend on me.
NFL in general or the Hall of Fame?
Just the NFL in general.
Okay. The thing that I guess caught my attention, I actually didn't watch any of the speeches from the Hall of Fame. I did pay more attention, though, to what Terrell Owens said at his own induction. And I thought that the response, however, from the Hall of Fame was just kind of didn't really make a lot of sense, that there was talk of, for upcoming candidates, that they would need to confirm that they were going to be at the ceremony to be considered either for semifinalists or finalists based upon this one person. And it's one of those things where the Hall of Fame wasn't actually, they weren't the ones that were actually the target. It's the sports writers. Specifically, he did this at the sports writers, not at the actual hall itself. So I was just scratching my head at why the hall would even involve itself in this. If someone doesn't want to go, they don't want to go, but that doesn't mean that you don't enshrine them. You just say that they weren't able to participate or they weren't there and move it along, just like you would do if someone passed away.
I would 100% agree with that. And it's just another case. I don't sound really negative. I know I sound really negative this episode, but I'm really fed up. I mean, it's just the culture of the NFL. It's like, do as we say, sit there and take it, or just do whatever we want you to do. And it doesn't matter about your beliefs or whatever else you got going on. We want you to do it our way. And if you don't like it, then we're going to take this from you. And I just don't like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You can go back to how many other people are enshrined in the Hall of Fame, and how many other people besides that one person actually missed the ceremony because he's an asshole. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
that was it.
You know.
So why even bother with the rest of it? Just, yeah, no one else has done it, and you don't need to make this into something more than what it really was. It was one person. So
yeah. So it's still another instance of where if you don't do what they want you to do, then they're whatever. It's going to be a rule for you. We're going to call it the TO rules. That we're going to call it.
How about you just let it go and move on to the next year, and just understand that you need to talk to the sports writers, and they need to be consistent about the criteria that they use to put these people in. I think it was very clear that that was really what this was about, and it was the sliding scale. It's the same in baseball as it is in football. I don't understand why there's not just a straight football Hall of Fame. So something that basketball does, so that it covers not only your high school, but your collegiate and
your contribution.
Right, exactly. Your contribution to the sport overall. It's not just the NFL. So, yeah.
I agree, Jamal.
Thank you. So, let's shift gears a little bit and let's talk about a couple of things that'll be happening when September rolls around. Are you looking forward to the Mayans, the sequel to The Sons of Anarchy?
Really? I mean, wasn't that the same writer for the show that we used to watch with the cops in California?
Don't say the next sentence, please. Don't say the next
sentence.
But
I'm just saying, I know you finished it.
See?
It's all been more than 5 years, but that's neither here nor there. But the point I'm getting at is, I think that Sons of Anarchy reminded me a lot of that show because, of course, it's the same writers. I just don't want another show that reminds me of 2 other shows. I mean, give me something different. Wow me, surprise me, make me want to watch. I just don't want the same formula for another show. How do you feel about the show, Jamal?
Okay, so I was excited until Barbie got a hold of it. Honestly, I'm going to agree with you, though, on that regard. I don't want a repeat of The Shield and of Sons of Anarchy. Now, what I will say is that while watching Sons, that the Mayans were the most interesting of the other biker gangs, and that to see that there's going to be a show just specifically about them, I honestly wish this had occurred either in the last 2 years of Sons, so they ran parallel so that you could have at least a little bit of interaction between the 2 of them, or as soon as Sons ended. I don't like the break between them, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm kind of excited about it, if I could say that, but otherwise, yeah, if it's the same, I'm going to be turning it off and just kicking rocks all over the place. The Affair. I honestly I made it through the first season. But thanks to the interwebs, I am aware that one of the main characters is no longer going to be on the show. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, fair. I mean, it started off really good, and then it kind of just slowed down. Okay, what I did enjoy is the actress who died, who was killed off the show.
Ruth Wilson, yeah.
Yes. So, she played her role really well. I think they need to just get rid of the whole show. Just this be the last season because there's really nothing else left. They reached in every possible direction that we reached that. So we're gonna let this lie. What I am excited to come back is Ray Donovan. Really waiting on that. I hadn't gotten a date, and I've been looking for it. But that's good. Insecure has come back as well as Fallers. That's good. It's all. That means it's almost time for fall, and this is a really good time of the year for TV.
I couldn't agree more. I'm going to try to let Ballers and Insecure get like a 2-week lead time so that I can watch 2 episodes as opposed to the 30 minutes of, I have to wait till next Sunday. No, I want a full hour. I want my full hour. And I think after that, Ray Donovan, again, behind. I am regretting being behind on that show. No, I really am. I want to catch up with that, and I will. As well as Better Call Saul. I'm only a season behind on, actually no, yeah, I'm just a season behind on Better Call Saul. I'm really just not doing well as your friend at this moment. Do you haven't had to go through the angst, but do you dislike that you got caught up very quickly on Game of Thrones and you have to wait until next year for the series finale?
Yes. And I think I'm going to have to go back and, I know what's going to happen. Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know where I left off. But I just really enjoyed the show. I hate that I waited so many years not watching it when I could have been enjoying it. And going through the pain of waiting for it to come back on like everybody else.
No, you don't need to go through the pains of waiting like the rest of us.
I'm paying right now. Come on, guys.
You watched Last Chance U.
I did.
Comments?
I don't play. I've never played football, but the coaches, oh my God, I think they go too far, but I guess I'm a woman, so I guess I'm sensitive. I think this coach, he went too far with some of the comments. At some point, are you motivating them to do better? Are you motivating them for what you're asking? Are you motivating them, or are you taking a little bit of their respect from them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I think, but hey, I'm a girl, so yeah. The players, they were okay. They weren't as charismatic or attention grabbing as the players have been in past seasons of Last Chance U. But overall, it was a good day, a couple of hours to watch that. Whichever long does it take?
So, are you turning into a Netflix junkie, or are you more of a HBO whatever?
Well, for my bill to be $230, I want to be a Uverse junkie.
Whoa.
Okay, I want to be enthralled in everything that goes on Uverse. Okay.
Wow.
Because I watched $236 worth of TV.
Wow.
So, don't know. I can't really gauge it, but I think I watch more Netflix than I watch the stuff that I record on the Uverse DVR.
Understood. Wow. So, along the same line, since you did bring that up, what network do you not watch for their shows?
a new network. Paramount has a
Mm-hmm.
new network, and they have Yellowstone, which stars Kevin Costner. Okay, it's a country western type of show, but it is really good. You should really look that up.
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone. Kevin Costner owns this ranch, and
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to monopolize everything up in Montana.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a good thing up there. That show you should watch.
Okay.
I'm suggesting it.
I am putting it on my list. Thank you for that.
No, no problem.
Oh, thank you again. So, a couple of things while we were away. I want to run just real quick questions by you. First of all, the idea of Eric Holder running for president in 2020.
I mean, I don't have an opinion.
Cool. Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi
I don't
Leonard
have an
being
opinion
traded.
on politics because I don't want to sound, as negative as I have about the NFL. But really, what changes? I mean, of course, we don't have the insults to other races and nationalities. I mean, that'll be gone. Maybe some of the collusion and some of the conspiracies will go. I mean, as long as someone decent gets in there, I'm good. And I really have low expectations for the president, and that's a sad thing.
It's a very sad thing. I am hopeful that this is something that turns out to be the case, or at least, like you said, somebody decent, and that they do win in 2020, and that there's some sort of normalcy where we are not talking about the president of the United States on a daily basis. I'm really getting tired of it. Kawhi Leonard being traded to Toronto.
It's a business. I would have preferred him to go where he wanted to so that he can thrive and give all his good energy to a place where he really wants to be. But I understand, the nature of the business. I'm more concerned about the guy that went to San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, you want credit for when you decided to sign that contract and stay in Toronto. That was a you decision.
Yep.
And it's a they decision when they wanted to move you to San Antonio. And at some point, maybe you just couldn't get it together. So it's better that you be in another environment. I'm really interested to see because I think he would add a lot to San Antonio, because they're kind of, even though they might not know it, they are in a rebuilding stage. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited to see how that gets turned around. They have Pop still as a coach, so I'm never going to count them out.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. As a Lakers fan, I looked at it and said, okay, good. This makes life a whole lot easier because we were in talks of trying to trade away half of our youth to San Antonio for this to take place. So that's been taken away. I'm very, very happy. And we'll see what happens with Toronto, who they have to re-sign this guy. This is his contract year. And if he doesn't sign with them, then he walks as a free agent. So I would look forward to possibly seeing Kawhi Leonard being moved at the trading deadline so that Toronto does get something for him, because there's no guarantee that he'll resign.
He's not resigning.
Ooh, shots fired.
He's not going to resign there. I don't give a damn what they do.
Shots fired. The NFL team that is going to disappoint the most this coming year is...
I'm going to just get out there and say something. I would say the Jaguars.
Oh!
I'm saying that for a reaction out of you. But I hope, really. I hope that they're able to rebuild on what they had last year. But seriously, disappointment. I'll say the franchise.
Wow, you just couldn't have smacked me upside my face any harder if you tried. Okay, yeah.
Who do you think?
I'm going to say the Seahawks. I think that we were supposed to talk about the Seahawks briefly, but, they lost the Legion of Boom. They're gone. And you lost Richard. He's with the Cowboys now in terms of their coaching. You lost your super tight end. You still don't really have a running back.
Running back. Mm-mm.
So I think that for all of that, that the team that normally should show promise, I think it's going to be the Seahawks. I think that is going to be the disappointment just based upon their usual means of doing well.
I don't necessarily think it's a disappointment because of everything that you said. You know what I'm saying? But what it is going to show is how much of a genius their coach is. You know what I'm saying? Because we always want to say he's a college coach. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You got to put it all together and get back to where you were. You know what I'm saying? And all these Seahawks fans that were established in 2002, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. 2002.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They got to. You don't want to lose the fan base, your temporary fan base. You know, your bandwagon.
Woo!
You know, so you got to go ahead and see if your coach can get the team back to where they were. And if he can't do that, Jamal, then I'm going to say that he is the ultimate college coach. And he's not for the NFL.
Shots fired. Okay. Okay. All right. Drake. I'm tired of him. What can I do?
You can do what I do, not listen.
He's all over the radio.
I listen to sports talk radio, so I don't have that problem.
Okay. I try to listen to music to take a break from sports talk radio, but
or
okay.
Spotify. I mean, you just make you up a. They even make your own damn playlist based upon what you listen to. So Spotify.
Okay. All right. So, what was the last great meal that you didn't create that you had?
Whew. Well. Oh my God! That I didn't create?
Correct.
Oh, it's been some time, and I spend a lot of money on food. I do, and that's a shame. I mean, I've really been brunch has really been good to me, but breakfast is easy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but I'm due for a really good meal. I really am. What about you?
I am gonna say somewhat the same. I'm trying to think the last great meal that I had. Yeah, it's been a minute. I'd have to say probably Flor de Mayo. In New York. Yeah. Okay,
I want to put that down on mine because that was really good. And the reason why I really want to go back to New York is to try another place similar to Flor de Mayo. So I'm just going to really need for you to come on and
we'll make it happen.
There.
We'll make it happen. We'll make that happen. Yes. Okay.
I can't eat there without you, okay?
Okay. Two more questions. One, what do you think of your Mavericks, since you're wearing the shirt, their top draft pick? Are you excited for him? And also, in the same line, do you think that he's overrated?
I don't know if he's overrated or not. The only thing that I can go by is what I see in video and listen to other people, you know, what they have to say about him. I hope that we can get lightning twice in the same spot as far as our last international player. I'm really hoping for that. I really hope our last international player retires.
Who?
Soon.
Who would this be? Who?
The Dirkster.
Yes, yeah. Dirk. Yes. Yeah.
So, you know, I'm really hoping that it's everything that they want it to be because we really need something. We are unable to really land free agents here in Dallas for whatever reason. We have a wonderful owner here. So I'm not really
great facilities.
And we have great facilities. And
great nightlife.
And, no.
What are you talking about? The W is interesting, isn't it?
Oh, I think everybody wants something more than one place to go to.
Okay. I mean, I'll have to go back down but I have to go by what you tell me.
Yeah, it's nice. It's really nice neighborhoods here. We'll just go with that.
Okay.
So I
Yes.
hope it's everything that we want it to be, to answer your question.
I hope that he turns out to be, like you said, what was expected of, or what was pre-hyped for Dirk, that it applies to Luca. That I think that the young Porter in Denver, who with his bad back decided that he was going to take shots at Luca because he's coming in heralded, decorated, played some international ball, is a champion already, that
Yeah.
instead of paying attention to what the hype is that he's getting coming in, that he pays attention to his own rehab and makes sure that he figures out how to get on the court in Denver. As a non-fan of your squad, I am, however, excited for preseason because I want to see what happens when you pair Luca with, is it Dennis Smith Jr.?
Smith.
That man, he's with those hops, and now
Yeah.
the ball's going to get out of his hand and into a proper point guard's hand. I'm really looking forward to see what happens with that. And I mean, also, since we are talking Mavericks, the can you teach your boy to shoot some free throws? I mean, I know he's not your actual boy, and he's a former Aggie, but can you teach him to shoot some free throws?
Well, I just hope that what young players realize is just because they drafted you because of your current talents, it is still important for you to develop other parts of your game.
Yes.
So that's what I have to say about that.
Understood. Completely understood. So, with that, I think that's about all I had. What I did want to do, though, is want to take a moment and recognize that we lost. Well, in the time that we were off, we lost, at least in the NFL, former Dallas Cowboy coach Tony Sparano, and not on a level of importance, but at least closer to home to the two of us. We lost a great yesterday in Aretha Franklin. Would love for you to say some words about Aretha, if you don't mind.
Well, what I really, really, really appreciated about this woman is the way that she carried herself. I really love her voice. It is, and a lot of people love Whitney Houston, but her voice is a voice of a lifetime. It will never be anyone close. I think that what maybe younger people don't realize is who is she? What did she do? She paved the way for a lot of things, especially for women. She made a lot of things acceptable because of the time that she started for women. So we need to always give credit where credit is due. When I was in my 20s and I had fake relationships that didn't work, I used to listen to her. I needed her. She made it all right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I need something a little stronger now. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But Aretha was the woman. If you just go back and just listen to, it's timeless. You know what I'm saying? You don't need a beat. You don't need this beat. You don't need this rap on it. You just need her, and you don't even need the music. So I just challenge anyone who hasn't just really listened to, just go listen to her greatest hits and get a good sampling of what it's about. And I think it's relatable to everyone, no matter what their age is. So
Absolutely.
yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah, Aretha was a true icon, and I am not as familiar with her catalog as you are, but I am definitely familiar with various songs that she did, and the big one, of course, for me at least, was Respect, that being previously a Otis Redding song that he did one year. They gave it to Aretha the next year. She blew it out of the water, and even Otis had to hold up his hands and say, "Yo, that's it."
And Otis is a bad boy. So.
Otis is a bad boy, absolutely. But Aretha was truly one of a kind, a voice, definitely a voice of a generation, and that I feel sometime after the 70s, going into the 80s, at least when I was coming up, she wasn't really getting the due that she probably should have gotten. Freeway of Love with Pink Cadillac was a hit for her in the 80s, and then I Knew You Were Waiting with George Michael a little bit later. But still, I don't think that Aretha really and truly got the accolades, the respect, and maybe even the other opportunities to continue along with her career that she should have. And it's one of those things that I think that people will look back and say we missed out on opportunities to make her continue her greatness and allow people to really take in what it was that that voice was.
Jamal, I agree. I think what a challenge it is to most artists, even the artists of even as early as the 80s and 90s, it just doesn't translate over well to what is being marketed and pushed and shoved down our throats. So she didn't need that. I mean, she in her own right, you know what I'm saying? She is good for what she did, and I think a lot of opportunities, they weren't there, because the real, I mean, it'll transcend, generations, but not
Right.
everybody is ready for what the greatness was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's their fault.
Yeah.
Because I took part in it. That's on. I'm just saying. So.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that's all we have time for today. Kay, I appreciate you. Appreciate your time. And look forward to doing this again next week.
Yes. All right, Jamal. Great show.
Yeah, thanks. Next week. Bye.